The Rangers lose to the Buffalo Sabres 3-2 in overtime. The Rangers really, there was a lack of urgency on their part, and we've seen this a lot lately where the Rangers really just don't get going until later in the game. And, look, obviously, when you look at the standings, the Rangers are pretty much, they are where they are. They are likely, especially after the Devil result, but we've seen this even before that Devil game and including the New Jersey game where the Rangers just don't, like the first periods are basically non-existent. Now, of course, I'm not talking about every single game, but really, you go down the line, and a lot of the games recently, it's just they're always this season. Give them credit; they've come back. They were able to get a point in this game, and they're trailing a lot. Not really scoring too many goals in the first. I know they did score 3 goals against Columbus a couple of games ago, but yeah, I'm not overly surprised by this. I did say they are good at bouncing back. And again, it's not as if they got obliterated. They didn't deserve to win. And, they got what they deserved, maybe even lucky to get a point. But, after that Devil game, you couldn't be shocked to see a lackluster effort. That's exactly what happened. And really, look, you're hoping to just not come out with injuries. So I'm kind of mixed between, not a huge deal and happy to be healthy, but also, I feel like this has just kind of been a thing for this team all year. Now there's more of an excuse for it, but again, really slow starts, just nothing going. And offensively challenged at times. I mean, they were outshot 11-2 in the first period to Buffalo. Buffalo is not a very good defensive team. Look, it's a team on the rise, and Devin Levi made his NHL debut in goal. And, this is a goal that there's some high hopes for Levi, and he really kind of, I shouldn't say he's the story of the game, but he is a big story as he makes 31 saves and he gets the win. And I thought Levi looked pretty impressive, but that's a Buffalo thing. But again, the Rangers, the third period was good. The Rangers, the good thing is this, when the Rangers want to turn it on, they play well, but too often it's like they're flipping the switch. But it's a strange time right now for the team, considering that there isn't, especially after that New Jersey loss, and even still, it felt like they didn't really even care. Not to take anything away from the Devils, but like I said, I think they are for real, totally for real. But it feels like the Rangers, they've, somewhat been going through the motions. It's a strange way. Last season, at least, it's a couple of things. The Rangers, they were newly good, and they were so good that it was like they didn't lose 3 in a row. And I mean, it was like very often it was just different. This year, they've had their struggles at times, and they're kind of just waiting for the playoffs at this point. So this is a game where Buffalo, after this win, just to give you some context in terms of where they're at in the standings, Buffalo now is 5 points back of Pittsburgh with a game in hand. So while unlikely to make the playoffs, not impossible. So from their perspective, they're going for it still. Here's the thing. I mean, no Tage Thompson. The Rangers lost this game with no Tage Thompson. Jeff Skinner is a Ranger killer. Going back to his days with Carolina, Jeff Skinner seems to do very well against the Rangers. He gets the game-winning goal in overtime in this one. But, yeah, it's disappointing, with no Tage Thompson, and it didn't really seem to matter. And, yeah, for the Rangers, off to a very slow start. There was a lot of really mostly defensive pair juggling, but as well as the forwards. So let's talk about that real quick. It happened especially in the second period. The defensive pairs were all over the place. I can't even give you, it was completely different on all angles. I'm not even going to name anything specific. Just know that it wasn't your typical Miller Trouba, Mika Fox, Harper Steiner. Now, come third period, I think it was a little bit more of that, and I don't know if they were just testing things out or what, but it was different. We were seeing completely different combinations. Forward-wise, the two best lines are the ones that stayed the same. And tonight, the two best lines, no doubt about it, were the kid line and the fourth line. Kid line and the fourth line stayed the same. But there was a lot of juggling going on with the first and second line. Now, initially, the move that was made, which we've seen before, and it pisses me off, is Kreider and Panarin switched. And so now Panarin is with Kane. Panarin cannot be with Kane, which is, I know, ironic because they brought Kane in because he's played with Panarin. They should not play together. It's just not working. And for Patrick Kane, look, I've been critical of Panarin and probably will. You'll hear that again from me, but but Patrick Kane, it's like he does look like he gives a shit out there. And look, maybe that's intentional for the playoffs, right? So I'm not going to go crazy, but let's just call it as we see it right now. Patrick Kane is a liability out there, just simply put. He's a nothing in the defensive zone. He's nothing. He's a nothing in the defensive zone, and I'm not seeing a whole lot offensively either. So for Kane, really, I was skeptical of it, was excited about it. It's Patrick Kane, but again, he's not proving me wrong. This is a different player than we've seen, but again, he did turn it on at the deadline. I think he has that in him. I sure as hell hope so. But then eventually, what happened is, and this is a little bit better, is the lines became this. The lines became, I believe, Kreider, Zibanejad, Kane, Panarin, Trocheck, Tarasenko. I'm all right with trying that out if you want to, right? So I don't know where it starts next game. Obviously for the most part, it's been Panarin, Zibanejad, Tarasenko, which I did like that line. And and Kreider, Trocheck, Kane. I thought that those lines were fine. Now they're mixing it up a bit, and so now what it ended up with, I don't hate it. I think Panarin should play with Tarasenko, not Kane, right? So that's the first thing. And so then who do you have as the center, right? You have Kreider and Kane on the wings at that point. And so, all right, now they're going to try Zibanejad in between Kreider and Kane, and Trocheck in between Panarin and Tarasenko. All right, if they want to start that game, that's fine, but you have to keep Panarin away from Kane. That will be bad if they play together. I mean, on the power play, fine, even though I don't love that either. But it can't be. And the Rangers, again, they only drew one power play. That's a sign of a team. They're not drawing penalties. They're not really working all that hard. And eventually, when they did, they drew that penalty in the third period. But the Sabres get back at the Rangers. A few weeks ago, the Rangers won a game in overtime at Buffalo. Well, now this time, Buffalo returns the favor. They win this one in overtime. So in this game, we'll go through it quick. First period, it is J.J. Peterka scoring his 11th goal of the season from Cousins and Quinn at 11:20. And this was a goal where it really looked like Kane just didn't really give a fuck on this one, if I'm being completely honest. This was right. This was the Panarin right. This was Panarin, Trocheck, Kane. I don't know why that change was made so quickly to go there, because that line is really not that good. I mean, fine, Kreider's a manager, Tarasenko, that's one thing, but I just stay away from that particular combination. It doesn't work. It does not fucking work. So I thought that was bad, and I believe Mikkola and Miller were on at the same time at that point. So really, the line juggling was already beginning in the first, I guess. But it's a goal for Buffalo. Rangers had it coming, and Buffalo scores. Then Zibanejad trips Peterka at 15:07. Rangers penalty kill does a nice job. They kill it off. But just a horrendous first period. They get outshot 11-2. Jaro Halak, I should mention, the first time mentioning Halak. I thought Halak played well. Maybe the goals, goal one, not his fault at all. Goal two wasn't great. But I thought that Halak, he was a reason, maybe the main reason the Rangers got a point. He played really well, made some big saves. So I thought he generally was fine, even though maybe a goal or two you'd like to have back, certainly one of them. We go to the second period, and at 23 seconds, Artemi Panarin, so right away, he high sticks Rasmus Dahlin. So it's whatever Gallant told them, didn't really work to start the second, but the Rangers penalty kill again, kills it off. And eventually in the second, it's a goal by Jordan Greenway. His fourth goal of the season from Middlestad and Dahlin. So at 7:39, he really just, Ben Harper is just not good. He goes by Ben Harper, and not a great goal by Halak. But it was a line change. I believe it was the kid line that, Hedl got taken down near the bench. And in the transition from that line to the Trocheck line that at the time had Panarin and Kane, it is a goal for Greenway. It is 2-0. However, the Rangers start to turn it around a little bit. And it was a goal very similar to the one that we saw in Florida. And the same situation, down 2-0 in the second. It's Kakko scoring sort of a greasy goal in front. Good job by him. It's his 15th goal of the season from Hedl, who did most of the work, and Lafreniere. Very strangely similar. And the thing I'll say about the kid line is they work the best as a unit. Do you wish for more? Yeah, I do, in some ways, for sure. But they really do work well as a three-man unit. And that was the case again here. So it's 2-1 Buffalo. And that would be the score going to the third. The second period, it was getting better, but still disappointing. The third period was the Rangers' best period, and we've seen that a lot. The Rangers have been generally a pretty good third period team for a while now. And the Rangers do tie it up, and the fourth line was on, but it's a goal by Adam Fox. Fox's 12th goal of the season from Goodrow and Mott and Goodrow were right near the net trying to score. Mott took a chance. Nope. Goodrow, nope. And then Fox finds the loose puck and scores past Levi, and it's 2-2. And the Rangers get their one power play chance, and they don't score. At 11:09, Lyubushkin hooks Panarin, but the power play does not score. It really didn't look good at all. So that was their opportunity. It falls through. And Halak made a couple of good saves at the end of regulation to keep it there, to go to overtime. And the Rangers started out all right. You had Hedl and Panarin and Fox doing all right. And then it switches over to Zibanejad, Tarasenko, Miller. So it's interesting. Forget about the defense. That makes sense. But it was interesting that we've seen him go Hedl, Panarin. And it's funny he went Zibanejad, Tarasenko, not Zibanejad, Kreider, and also no Patrick Kane. Again, I don't mind this, but it is interesting. So that's it was a bad job by really Zibanejad, Tarasenko, and Miller. Jeff Skinner, I guess, you know what? It was kind of similar to the Toronto goal by Mitch Marner, where I believe Zibanejad and Miller were on for that one. Of course, Tarasenko wasn't on the Rangers at that point. But Skinner goes way too easily through all three of them and scores past Halak. And so the Rangers, they lose the game. They lose 3-2 in overtime. The Rangers are 6-9 in the 3-on-3. Not very good. Again, that means nothing for the playoffs, but they are 6-9. That's a lot. It's a lot. 9 losses is a lot in the 3-on-3 for a team that you would think would be a little bit better than that. But again, they lose this one. You know, not very consequential in terms of the standings, because again, once they lost to New Jersey last night, to me, it became pretty clear, while not impossible, clear they'd be in the 3 spot, and getting only 1 point here kind of further solidifies that. But yeah, the Rangers did not play very well. There's a lack of urgency. They come out of it healthy, right? And that's really the most important thing. But again, they trail, but they don't get killed, right? They trail a lot, but they're always in these games, and so this was just a similar script to what we've seen. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see a similar script like this again at Washington. We have seen a lot of goal scoring in these Rangers-Capitals games recently, so maybe that game will be, have a little bit more action in it in that way. But the Rangers now head to Washington to take on a Capital team that is, they are not going to make the playoffs. The last time they played Washington, they were kind of on the outskirts, kind of like where Buffalo is now. Washington's not going to make it, so we'll see what that does. I'd expect to see Shesterkin back in net. Other than that, probably the same lineup. We'll see what they do. But again, the Rangers lose to the Buffalo Sabres in overtime, 3-2.